Hi guys, my name is Christine and I'm a dating, relationship and personal development coach. And today I'm talking about, does playing hard to get work? So playing hard to get it does work, but it depends on the way that you're playing it, okay? So the way that it doesn't work, right, the methods that doesn't work is if you're cold or if you're mean or if you ghost, right? So if you're being horrible to this person, that's not playing hard to get. That's just being called mean. If you're ghosting them, then also that's not good either, right? That's not going to make them want to talk to you. If they feel like you're ignoring them, then they're going to feel bad, right? Because the thing is, if you like someone, you want them to associate positive feelings towards you, right? So what that means is that whenever they speak to you, they feel happy to speak to you because you're positive to them, you're always welcoming, and it makes them feel happy, right? But if you're mean to them and you ghost them and you're cold to them because you're playing hard to get, that's going to repel them because whenever they speak to you, they get a negative experience, right? So a positive experience is when they reach out to you and you're like, hey, I'm doing great, how are you doing? You know, you're always receptive. So you want to make sure that they associate positive feelings with you and not negative. So if you're cold to them and you're mean to them, that's going to make them feel bad around you and they're not going to want to speak to you and they're not going to want to continue dating you or seeing you or anything like that. So you have to do the opposite of that, right? Which is, so this is what does work when it comes to playing hard to get. Okay, so the first thing is you take your time to respond. It doesn't mean you never respond. You don't ghost them, but you take your time to respond. Okay, so that means if you're doing something and you see that you get a message from whoever it is that you like, just wait until you finish doing whatever you're doing. Like if you're at work, then wait until your shift has ended. If you're doing a project at home, wait until you've finished and you've actually finished before you respond to them. Things like that, you know, you're not ignoring them, but you're taking your time. You're doing things when it's convenient for you. You don't, and you basically you give off this energy that you don't have time all day to chit chat to them. Okay, because you're a busy person with a busy life and you have things that you like to do, and you're going to make those things a priority right now because perhaps this is just someone that you've just started dating. You shouldn't be putting someone who you've only just started dating as a priority in your life, right? You shouldn't be putting them at top tier, right? They should be like middle tier, right? Because if you have a job that you really love and you have projects that you really like to work on, you've got hobbies that you enjoy, those should be the main tier of your life, right? Health and fitness should also be up there. So you got to wait until all of those things are done until you get to here, because she or he hasn't, been in your life that very long. You don't really know them very well yet. So you shouldn't be putting them above friends and family and things that you like to do or your career. Right? They should be somewhere here because you don't know them yet. You haven't got to know them. And if you don't know them, there's no reason for them to be up here and you should be dropping absolutely everything to speak to them. Take your time with it. Just take your time. Okay, that's a good way to play hard to get. So another way is matching and mirroring their conversations with you. So let's say maybe you suspect maybe they're playing a little bit hard to get, right? So let's say they reply to one of your messages once every 3 days, right? So you say, hey, how are you? They get back to you 3 days later. So respond to them 4 days later, 5 days later, right? You just match and mirror what they do, okay? Especially if you feel like this is someone that is probably slipping away, probably is losing interest in you, which happens, right? Because what's going to happen is once they see that you are doing way less than what they are, they're going to start to feel like, oh, I'm going to have to start pursuing this person because things aren't going as fast as I hope them to be, right? So match and mirror what they do. Like it is also, see who is initiating the conversations more. If you're doing most of the initiating, let's say you're doing like 90% of the initiating, you have to cut that way down. Like if they initiate a conversation with you once a week, then you initiate a conversation with them once a week. But all in all, you want to avoid messaging too much anyway. Like if your messages don't lead to a date, there's no point of you actually talking to them, okay? So, because you're just chit-chatting then, and then it just gets very boring very quickly. So make sure each time you are speaking to them, make sure it's about arranging a date, arranging to meet up. Because if they don't like you, then they won't agree to ever meeting up with you. And then you know not to play these games. You know not to play hard to get because they're not interested. Because someone that's interested in you will say yes to going out with you, right? So this is an example I used not that long ago. And that is, if someone that you really, really liked, someone that you're super attracted to, asked you out and said, hey, what are you doing on Saturday? I'd love to hang out with you. You'd be like, oh yeah, I'd love to. Let's hang out on Saturday, because you really, really like them, right? So if you ask someone out, like someone who you're playing hard to get to, and you ask them out, and they say no, then it's like, well, move on, because they clearly don't like you. Because if they did, they would give the response that you would give if they asked you out, or someone that you really liked asked you out. You'd be like, yes. So if you're not getting that, yes, I'd love to, then they're not worth your time anyway. So make sure when you do message them, it's about arranging when you're going to meet up and when you're going to go out on a date. It's so important to do that, okay? So important. Don't just be chit-chatting, going, hey, how are you? What have you been up to? Because that gets really boring really quickly. Whenever you're messaging them, make sure you're using Messenger, texting as a tool to meet up and hang out, not just to have a chat, right? Because it's really boring. If you're long distance, then, you should be arranging a FaceTime with them or some sort of video call. So it should be about that, right? So don't give me the excuse of, yeah, but we're in long distance, so the only time we can chat is online. Arrange a voice or more of likely a video chat with them would be better. Phone call, that's okay, but it's better to have a video chat with them. Make a video date and make it, again, like once a week. Arrange that with them. And, if you're in a long distance thing as well, and you're talking to someone long distance, you should be arranging still to hang out with them and meet them in person, because you're never really going to know who this person is and what they're like unless you see them physically, okay? We are, as human beings, we are very much readers of body language, okay? Messaging, all this online chit-chatting stuff, has only been around for the last couple of decades, okay? So, but our brains, as human beings, our brains have been developing over the years for hundreds of thousands of years, right? Hundreds of thousands, maybe even millions of years, okay? And for those 100,000 years and millions of years, we've always been face-to-face creatures, right? So that's why, long-distance relationships have a bit of a hard time, because you're not seeing each other face-to-face, you're not reading each other's body language, and sometimes things can get lost in translation because things can get misinterpreted when it comes to online messaging and things. So you should be doing the next best thing is video calls with each other, where you can see each other's face, but you should still be trying to arrange as soon as possible to meet up with them in person. That should always be a topic when you're talking. When are we going to hang out? When can we, maybe you don't have much money right now, so you're like, okay, I'm saving my money so I can come and see you. When are you available to do this? Keep on always bringing that up if it's a long-term thing. Long distance thing, rather. So thank you so much for watching. If you'd like to get in touch with me personally, then please go to www.christineloveridge.com. Thank you so much for watching, and I shall talk to you guys again very soon. Goodbye.